Minnesota, where hundreds of thousands of Somalians are ripping off our country and ripping apart that once great state.
Last night, the president reiterated claims that Somalis in Minnesota are behind fraud and crime in the state. Just last Friday, he called to terminate temporary protected status for Somalia. The potential termination would impact an estimated 430 Somalis in Minnesota under that protection.
And the president tweets as if he has the authority to terminate temporary protected status for Somalis in Minnesota. Even little kids in 8th grade know that that is not an authority that the president has and can wield. The other unlawful thing that our lawless president is claiming to do so is to terminate that status for only one state, which he has no authority to do so. So, for the 300 or so people that are impacted, that currently live in Minnesota and across the country, we see you and we stand with you, and we will make sure we do everything that we can to help make sure that your status is adjusted before March of 2026. Because you know and I know that there is nothing temporary about people's lives here in the United States. But I want most Minnesotans to know this. Majority of us Somalis who are here, as my friend Ali said yesterday, most of us, this was not the first place we came when we came to the United States. But most of us chose Minnesota as our home because Minnesota is special to us. Minnesotans are special to us. When we moved from Arlington, Virginia and came here nearly 30 years ago, none of us decided to move to another state. My siblings and I and my dad, until he died, called Minnesota home. Because like I said, Minnesota is special. And I know almost every single elected Somali Minnesotan did not start out in Minnesota, but chose to come here, stay here, start families here.
waa kalsoonidaas inaan isku qabno annaga Soomaali haddii aan nahay waddankan annaga ku nool waddankan waddankii aan annaga tax ka dhiibna waaye waa waddankii gabar idinka dhalatayne ee Congress ka fadhiso intii aniga aan Congress joogo waddanka Soomaaliya biyaheeda dad kaleeta iyo badeeda dad kale ma qaadanayaan waddanka Mareykankana kuma taageerayo dad kaleeta in annaga ayna dhacaan marka taas ka seexda reer Minnesota gabadhii Congress u dirsateen way idinka warhaysaa sidaad idinka u dareemaysiin dantaas ay u dareemeen.
Okay, I'm just going to read this because she is speaking in Somalian and she talks really fast and it's hard to read this in the time she's talking. So she says, my answer to Somalians was that the U.S. government will only do what Somalians in the U.S. tell them to do. They will do what we want and nothing else. They must follow our orders, and that is how we will safeguard the interest of Somalia. We Somalians must have that confidence in ourselves that we call for the shots in the U.S. I think she means that we call the shots in the U.S. How about that? We live in the U.S., pay taxes, and in the U.S. have a real voice. For as long as I am in the U.S. Congress, Somalia will never be in danger. Its waters, Indian Ocean, will not be stolen by Ethiopia or others. The U.S. would not dare to support anyone against Somalia to steal our land or oceans. No, they wouldn't dare. Sleep in comfort knowing I am here to protect the interests of Somalia from inside the U.S. system. The woman, myself, you sent to Congress is working day and night to protect your interests. She knows your plight and that of Somalia. I am as concerned about Somalia as you guys are. Together, we will protect the interests of Somalia. Speaking after her, and he said, Representative Ilhan Omar, who has written the name of Somalia with a gold pen. Must have spent a lot of money from their scams and wrote a check for gold to send to Somalia that they stole from America. The interests of Ilhan are not Ilhan's. It's not the interest of Minnesota. Nor is it the interest of the American people. The interest of Ilhan's is that of the Somalian people and Somalia. So he's just backing up her claim there. Look at them smile at each other. They know what they've done. They're criminals. They're not legal citizens. They're naturalized citizens. And if they don't go by the Constitution of the United States, they can get their butts kicked out of here. They don't deserve to be here. There's a lot of good Somalian people that are here that deserve to be here. This is not about race or anything else. This is about criminals coming to America to steal our gold, our wealth, our children's futures. Shame on them.
oo Kongresska Mareykanka ku jirto laakiin waxaan ahay gabar Soomaaliyeed gabar idinku jinsi ah gabar idinku af ah gabar idinku diin ah oo ahade qof iyadoo da'yar wadankeedii laga kaxeeyay wili xiise u qabto in maalin wadankeedii ay ku noolaato oo dadkeedii wax ay la wadaagto marka alxamdulillah waxaan rajaynayaa aniga iyo ilmahayga in aan hade ku barbaariyo iyagana ilmahooda ay ku barbaariyaan dhulkii aniga aan ku soo koray taasna hadii ay suurtagelayso waa hada shaqo badan inaan wada qabanaa haduu Ilaahay yiraahdo oo aan ka dhignaa dhulkeena dhul barwaaqadiisa dadka
I am an American migrant in the United States Congress. But I am a Somali girl. She's not proud to be an American. She don't really even like it here. She wants to go back to Somalia. I say, a girl with your language, a girl with your religion, Islam, that was a young child taken from her country. So she don't consider America her country. She considers Somalia her country. She's not happy to be here and thankful. She was just a young child and she was taken from her country. Well, I think we should just let her go back. Wouldn't that be a breath of fresh air? That misses her country and wishes to live there. I think President Trump should make her wish come true. Don't you? And share with its people. Yeah, she wants to share all the millions and millions of dollars that they've stolen from hardworking Americans paying into the tax system and can barely buy groceries from week to week. This is sickening. I am hopeful in the future that me and my children will be able to raise our kids in this land where I was born and raised. To make that possible, there is a lot that we need to work on together to make our land a more stable and prosperous place. Wow, that's just unbelievable that she would even say this stuff in public. God, help us and let these dear people go back to their own land that they love so much, like we love our country. We want it back. Don't we want it back? So our kids can have a future, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren.
Turns into threats, demands to delete footage, And you see a lot are shocked. Deportations are real. Because the tone, it's just changed nationally.
It's pretty funny. Well, I think it's funny, at least. All the illegals, they still think we're stuck with them? No, no, no. You're about to be stuck in here with us. Clock is ticking. Could be a soft tick, could be a loud one, hard to say.
That's when the meltdown started.
Can I say, I think at this point, it looks like Trump has completely lost his marbles. I mean, he lost them a very long time ago. But now he's just, before, like, you remember when he just used to be tweeting everything when he was in, like, he'll be tweeting all night. I think he's gone back to tweeting all night. Like, what have the Somalis done to you? I don't know. I've never been to Minnesota, so I have no idea what the Somalis in Minnesota are getting up to.
That's not fear. That's entitlement built from years of feeling untouchable. And that attitude came from the setup.
Let's talk about Ilhan Omar's people in Minnesota. So they brought about 80,000 of these Somali Muslims in. They grouped them in one spot, and then they used that to elect her to Congress. That's how she got there. Okay, now, one thing you need to remember, according to the stats, is over 90% of these people have availed themselves of some sort of social service welfare program. Okay, now, the authorities in Minnesota have a huge investigation because these people have come up with all kind of different scams. Scams saying they're going to feed children, scams for housing, scams for fake marriages, fake divorces, you name it. They came here and they started scamming the system like nobody would believe. And these are her people all grouped together in Minnesota. We're going to talk about Dearborn, Michigan soon, too. Let's talk about Ilhan.
Now, Obama resettled tens of thousands of Somalis, and most landed in one district, Ilhan Omar's district. That district became the fraud capital of the Midwest. Daycare scams, food stamp scams, feeding our future, zero assimilation. Minnesota didn't become diverse. It became Somalia inside the U.S., it seems. And now even their top figure, she's sweating, y'all.
Enough to understand that members of Congress can't be impeached. When you have Nancy and Randy saying, we're on it, we're going to impeach her, when they're saying they're going to deport me, knowing full well that you cannot deport an American citizen.
Ilhan Omar, the cracks are beginning to show. Now that you are on Trump's radar, I think you are starting to become very afraid. You're starting to panic. It looks like you are terrified and you feel some sense of threat. And honestly, you should be. I would like to point out and comment on the last statement that you made in that interview, but I'd also like to correct you on some few things. Yes, you are correct. American citizens cannot be deported. But what you failed to mention is that there are two types of American citizens. You failed to make that distinction. They are natural-born citizens and they are naturalized citizens, which you and I fall under that category. Both you and I are naturalized citizens. You being a Somalian and I am a Zambian. We became naturalized citizens because we satisfied the requirements needed to pursue citizenship through a legal process. We applied for naturalization because we satisfied all the requirements needed by immigration in order for us to pursue to become citizens. Natural-born citizens cannot be deported. Why? Because we're born here. However, naturalized citizens, we can get our citizenship revoked through a denaturalization process. And how that can come about is if we are being pursued criminally or civically. And it has to go through the federal courts. When they start civil or criminal proceedings, that's where we can run the risk of having our citizenship revoked. Now, you on the other hand, you are being pursued criminally because it's been alleged that you had committed acts of fraud when it came to applying for your citizenship, for your naturalized citizenship. You had made some statements which were misrepresented, or you had omitted facts, or you did not tell the truth when it came to applying for your citizenship. Now this alleged information has come about that you had lied on your application. That is why you're being pursued criminally. And that's how you may face being deported or having your citizenship revoked because of those things. The problem with you, Ilhan, is I think you've gotten way too comfortable. To be honest with you, you're very cocky. You're taking this whole thing for granted. The fact that you are in this country, let me tell you something. Being a U.S. citizen, especially being a naturalized U.S. citizen, that is a privilege. It's not a right. I have a privilege, and I am proud and I am happy. I am grateful that I was awarded and I was afforded that opportunity to be a citizen of this country. America didn't have to do that. They didn't have to grant me a citizenship because I've been in this country. So don't bite the hands that feed you. And for you to be so disrespectful to Trump, the way you talk about this man like he is shit under your shoe, is very disrespectful. Because guess what? You don't have to be here. He can have the right to pursue criminal proceedings to get you out of this country. Because time and time again, your actions, the things that you say and you do, show that you are not a loyal citizen of this country. You don't deserve to be an American citizen. Why? Because you put your own country of Somalia first. Then you do this country that has afforded you the abilities, the privileges, and the access for you to even have a platform. Because the country that you come from Somalia, they oppress women. And you don't have the freedoms or the rights to talk the way you do. So if I were you, I would not bite the hands that feed you. And I would sit down and humble myself. Because right now what you're doing, Ilhan, you're not being humble. You're not showing gratitude. If it wasn't for America, where would you be right now? The very same country of Somalia that you're always crying about, that you put first, why aren't you there already? If that country is doing so much for you and it's a country that you love so much, why aren't you pursuing your pursuance there? Why aren't you there? But no, you want to take America for granted. The country that has awarded you the wealth, the platform for you to have a position in government. But this is how you shit on America like this? No, you don't deserve to be a citizen. And I really do hope that Homeland Security, they start to do thorough investigations so that they can get you out of here. Because you have time and time again taken advantage of this country. Some of your shady dealings that you've done, committing fraud, embezzling money, all these things, getting your community who are also committing acts of fraud. You are perpetuating that. You are at the forefront. Now you want to shit on America, the very same country that has done a lot for you? How dare you? How dare you? Who are you? You would be nothing. It's so annoying because you get people like myself who really have so much respect for this country and are so satisfied and so appreciative of what America has done. You're not worthy. You're not worthy to be in office. You're not worthy to have that title of being a congresswoman. You don't deserve to be here. You need to go. Ilhan, you need to go. I'm tired of the level of disrespect that you show Americans. I'm tired of the level of disrespect that you show our president time and time again. Go back to Somalia. Go back. If it's that much pressing that you don't want to be here or you love Somalia, go back. What's stopping you?
Just send love to Maddie right there, man. Oh, Ilhan Omar says you can't deport an American citizen, but she's naturalized. You know, that's like I said, that statement is actually correct for natural-born citizens, but not for you. And if the paperwork behind that naturalization was fraudulent, the law allows denaturalization. Citizenship gone. Visa gone. Deportation on the table. No confirmed charges, but in the state drowning in fraud investigations, the last person who should even try to be a little cocky is the face of the entire ecosystem. When Trump teams open up the files, they don't just look at the scammers. They look at the people who benefited at the top. This is what happens when you build a separate country inside a country. Deportees crying overseas. You got language enclaves, pushing cameras away, influencers joking about deportation until it becomes real. And now a congresswoman insisting she's untouchable while the laws, they actually say otherwise. Now Minnesota rolled out the red carpet. Trump is rolling it back.